I was Sunday night. I was kicked out of the shelter, and the I'm in a bad way right now because I don't have money for my bills. My my car payment is past due. I can't pay my storage locker, and my uh, I just need help. See, I don't like begging for help. I don't like relying on the kindness of others. I'd much rather be the one helping. The problem is, I've got a record. Um, and no one wants to hire me. The my 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 predicament is grim. I don't know what to do. I tried getting help through a charity, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. Um, I was only in that shelter for 40 days, and I'm not going to be cordial. I'm not going to be uh, graceful about this. I'm going to call out the individuals that got me kicked out. There was this individual who claims to be a veteran. He, as soon as I said I was in the Navy, said, "No, no, you didn't. You didn't serve." And I didn't know how to deal with that. I just brushed it off because who cares what this guy thinks? Well, he made it his mission to tell every single person in that shelter that I never served. And the way I found this out is because people would come up to me and ask me, "Hey, can I see proof that you served?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I pull out my expired military ID, and they would say, "Well, okay, you served." Well, by the fifth person, I asked, "Well, who's telling you that I didn't serve?" "Oh, that guy in the wheelchair over there." Well, that was just the beginning, because I was having a conversation, an AB conversation with one of the older gentlemen, and the older gentleman agreed with me. See, we were talking about power outages because the cell phone system went down a few days ago, last week. So I said, in my opinion, that is a prelude to something bigger that's coming. It could be the power grid. So we were talking about generators and how I'm trying to convince my parents to buy a generator. And I said, well, an alternative, if you don't want to pay for fuel, is solar panels. And I was talking about consumer grade Harbor Freight style solar panels. They're not very great, they're not very efficient, but they're good for the price. Well, the guy in the wheelchair chimes in because I said it's best not to expose them to sunlight at a constant, like in the desert, because they won't last 6 minutes. Well, he called me a dumbass. I'm like, okay, why am I a dumbass? He's like, because I worked with solar panels for like 30 years, and they work best in the desert. And I said to him, well, were they industrial grade solar panels? And he said, yeah. I said, well, we're not talking about industrial grade solar panels that I am assuming are $4,000 a panel. We're talking about consumer grade affordable solar panels from Harbor Freight or Coleman, depending on what brand you want to go with. He said, well, you're still a dumbass. I said, no, I'm not a dumbass. You're making an assumption that I'm a dumbass because I have lack of knowledge. You have expert knowledge on this. And you're assuming I'm a dumbass because I am ignorant of what knowledge you have. No, you're just a dumbass. Okay. Well, that's your opinion. I'm going to leave. Because, quite frankly, you're an asshole. And I don't want to say anything to get me kicked out of the shelter. So I walked away. So he doubled down on telling everyone that I'm not a veteran. One way to get under my skin, and it's really hard to get under my skin, is calling me stolen valor or a phony. And calling me a dumbass. See, when I was in high school, actually it was middle school, I scored, well, the first time I did the IQ test, I wasn't paying attention really that much because I didn't really care. So I scored an 87. Or was it an 86? I think it was an 87. No, it was 86. So they considered that null and void. So they had me take the test again. And they told me, please pay attention. And I'm like, okay. I scored a 127. So, now my brother, he scored a 147. Wait, did I say two? I scored a 127. He scored a 147. That is a 20-point difference. My brother is a genius. So this guy, when I informed him of my IQ, said, well, I have an IQ of 164. I stopped him right there and I said, okay, you're obviously inflating those numbers. Not that type of caliber. Now, I'm not calling you an idiot because that's rude. But either you're above average or you're average. That's the kind of reading I'm getting from you. Well, he took that personally. And before this, one of his friends came up to me and started threatening me. And I didn't take nicely to that. But when I said the things I said, which I was trying to be nice, he puts the brakes on his, he turns the brakes on his wheelchair. He gets up out of the chair because he has that ability. He just can't walk. He can stand. And he takes a swing at me. Well, he's projecting his movements. I step back. He misses me. He loses his balance. He falls on his hip. He fractures his hip. I got in trouble for that. And his friend said that I threatened him with deadly force. Saying that I was going to go out to my car and get my gun, come back in and shoot him. Never said that. I did say I would break him like a toothpick if he touched me. But the director of the shelter kicked me out because he was considering me a troublemaker. Well, I was assaulted 3 different times in that shelter in the 40 days that I was there. Each one of those individuals that assaulted me are still in that shelter right now. They like one of them punched me in the back of the head, and he is still there. They didn't make him walk, like go outside and walk and calm himself down. No, they reprimanded me, even though I didn't provoke the guy. The guy is notorious for threatening people randomly. So he's still there, but I am not. It makes no sense. So I am going to call out the director of shelter house. It's 411 Jess Street. The shelter director kicked me out and barred me from coming back in. Well, sir, you are an asshole. Because I complained about being hit in the back of the head multiple times by 3 different individuals. Those individuals are still in the shelter. That doesn't make any sense. So you're going off a rumor that I supposedly threatened someone. That I threatened someone with a firearm. And you just kick me out. I don't know your name, but if I did, I would tell everyone. I wouldn't dox you, but because that would be an asshole move. But just know, if you see this, I feel like I will call you out. But yeah, shelter house. It's a shithole. Don't go there. If you're homeless, go to City Mission Gospel or somewhere else. Shelter house needs to be shut down. Granted, there's good people who work there, but there's also assholes. So I just don't understand. Actually, I do understand my predicament. See, it all started, I was working for a mall. My second time working for that mall, because they asked me to come back. I quit my job and came back to that mall as a favor for the mall manager. He guilt tripped me. So, made me feel bad. Guilt tripped me into quitting a very well-paid job. And there was a break-in one night. I called the police. By the time the police got there, no one was there except for me. So the police accused me of lying to them, saying that I did a false alarm. So they charged me with They charged me with obstruction of official business, and then they charged me with weapons under disability because I have a felony. But the problem with that is the state has returned my rights to me, all my rights, so I can have guns. I can vote, I can have guns, I can run for public office, etc., etc. Because of that, no police officer is allowed to see my record. That means they perceived they had probable cause and reasonable suspicion because they are ignorant towards the law. Because they're police officers, not lawyers. They couldn't find my record. I wasn't on the prohibited persons list. They couldn't see my felonies. So what they did was they looked up the news article on me because I was on the news because there was a big stink about what I did. And they used the news article. So they essentially used a hunch. It is illegal for police officers to go on hunches. So they used a hunch. They looked up me on the internet, saw that I had a felony on the news report, and they arrested me. They took my gun. Then when I met the judge, because they took me to jail, and I saw the judge that morning. She was furious. Also the prosecutor was furious too. The prosecutor, or the assistant prosecutor, said to me that I have a nonviolent record. The judge agreed. Now it still went to, because it's a felony to have weapons under disability, it's an F3 automatically. So it went to a grand jury and it got ignored. I screenshotted that. So if anyone has any doubts that I'm not allowed to have firearms, I just show them that screenshot. So, when it came time to trial for the obstruction of official business, the judge was not having it. He obviously didn't like the prosecutor because the prosecutor brought up my previous felonies and said that the weapons under disability should not have been dismissed. Well, the judge corrected him because it was a different assistant prosecutor. Different judge, different. So the guy brought up my felonies from the past. Judge said that was inadmissible in court. The prosecutor just kept annoying the judge. You can tell the judge was not having a great day. He was being annoyed. So I went to the stand, testified on my own behalf. I looked the judge in the eyes. I was looking him in the eyes when I was explaining what happened. And you know what he said? Yeah, not guilty. And he hammered the gavel. The police officer that was there, he was a sergeant. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to ruin my friendship with him. Even though we don't have a friendship, he pretty much hates me. He had the look of, oh, this is ridiculous. And as soon as I left the court, and as I was leaving the court, my lawyer came up to me and says, well, we have a green light to sue the department and the officers involved. I said, oh, no, I'm not doing that because I don't want to be killed in my sleep. I should have sued the department, but I didn't. But as soon as I got out of court and I got done talking to my lawyer, I went to the department, got my pistol back. The chief of police apologized, and I've been unemployed for about 7 months now. I've been homeless for 7 months. I've been unemployed for 7 months. I'm out of money. I've been relying on the kindness of others. I don't like doing that. I prefer to be the one helping. See, I have a lot of potential, and because I have that record, my potential is squandered. I can't reach my potential. I've made mistakes in my past. I'm sorry for those mistakes, but I have to live with the ramifications, the aftermath of those mistakes. And I lost my apartment because the police were being overzealous. And I wish I could just catch a break. My inability to find a job, not for lack of trying, by the way, but employers see my record and they do an about face. They just don't want to deal with it. And I wish I could find a job. I wish I could pay back my debts. My I just wish that I could be self-sufficient. I'm just, what's the word for it? I'm disenfranchised. That's not the right word. I got sick in the shelter, so I'm trying to survive that. They don't know what it is. It could be Spanish flu for all we know. But my I just wish that I could find a job, be self-sufficient, get back on my feet, and just live a life without turmoil. But that's never going to happen. Who am I kidding? I'm destitute. I'm unemployable. It hurts my soul that I can't provide for myself. That I have to rely on the kindness of others. See, I've tried, I didn't want to, but I tried to apply for SSI and SSDI, and I, uh, I was rejected 3 times. They said there's not sufficient evidence that I am disabled enough that I can't keep a job. Even though the mall gave the excuse that I was fired because of my mental illness. My I know people who are completely able-bodied and have no business being on SSDI. One is a former teacher that slept with her students. The other one is an autistic man-child that is physically able to work but refuses to. And just it's not fair. See, I don't want to be on SSI, but it's come to the point where it's a necessity. I don't like mooching on others. I don't want to contribute to the decline of this country. But it's going to happen because there are too many people who are not contributing, who are essentially living off of the teat of the government on the backs of workers. And it's not sustainable. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm bored.